All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to this video or audio if you're listening to it in the audio form. Today, I wanted to bring back on the one and only Greg to my channel, and the reason I
Hey.
say back on because I actually did like my first video with him. I think kind of like talking about creative agency and his initial successes around 1.5 years ago or so. I think at this point.
hmm
Then we actually used to do like a podcast together. I think we did like 7 or so episodes. And in a while we haven't had him on the channel, but today, yeah, the Polish YouTube agency Dawn is back. So thank you for coming back on the channel, Greg.
Yes, it's been a while. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and for all the people who haven't, I guess, watched any of our videos together yet, can you give people like a quick rundown of, yeah, who you are, like what you do, kind of like where you're at, all the things that could be relevant for other people who are in also this like creative business space.
Sure. So I basically run a YouTube agency, as you already mentioned. We work like mainly with entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, helping them not only like grow on YouTube, but also actually like get leads and clients from that. So that's kind of like what we specialize in. And yeah, we work with like 15 to 20 clients, kind of depend on the month. Yeah, just to give you some numbers, like the agency is doing around like 30K a month consistently for the past few months. And yeah, that's kind of like what I've been working on for the last 2 years. Yeah.
That's awesome. How big is your team at this point to, be able to serve 15, 20 clients every month?
Yeah, it's pretty big, but the thing is also like right now it's around like 12 people, I would say. But the thing is that all my team is based in Poland, and like not everyone is full time. So for example, we have like 3 graphic designers creating thumbnails for our clients. Technically, we could have maybe one like full time, but I think it's just better to have more, just all like even just in case someone is on holiday or something, just to keep things running. We have like kind of big team, could be maybe smaller, but that's kind of how we have things structured. So yeah, that's kind of like what we have to serve this many clients.
Awesome. That's great. And you are, how old are you now? Like 21, 22?
Yeah, 21, turned 21 this year.
21. Yeah, crazy. And yeah, for everyone, like just take us back a little bit into how you kind of got into it. Like just like the 3 to 5 minute story, because I remember like I know you were following me on Instagram like over 2 years ago at this point. And the first like time we connected, I was actually putting up an Instagram story telling people I would do like a free I guess coaching call or consulting call back then, and I was doing like a giveaway and you won that. And then we actually did some coaching together with Greg for like half a year, and you progressed super fast. Like you went from not making any money to like getting up to 10K a month, 15K a month, 20K a month, really fast. Um, and then like obviously after that you went on your own as well, and built like actually a bigger agency than what I was running at the time when that was my main focus. So that was super like great to see. So can you take us back a little bit into how you got into the space and like some of the main stages of the journey getting up to this point where you're doing like 35K months consistently?
Sure, sure. So it started kind of long, long ago. So I was like just binge watching, YouTube videos about like how to start an agency, like any online business pretty much. Because at the beginning, when I was like 15, I just like tried a lot of different things. So, like all the basics, like drop shipping, all of that stuff. I tried it, but then like nothing really worked, and I was like watching a lot of these videos about like these agency owners, because SMA YouTube is still like really big, but back then, just like binge watching this content. And I knew I wanted to start like an online business because, well, also previously I was doing some work in terms of like video stuff, some photo stuff here locally in Poland. So I was kind of like making my own money. Like when I was, 15, 16, I kind of was already doing that, but I always wanted to have like a proper online business. But I
Yeah.
never, like, I didn't know nothing about like Facebook ads, Google ads, all the advertising stuff that most people were doing with their agencies. And then I came across you, and I saw that you were doing like a content agency, and like I've never saw something like that. I never think that, oh, I can actually like create content without having to like fly to these people, record the videos and stuff, and I can actually like have this online business and do basically content for others. So one day, I think it was around the pandemic. Just was kind of bored, so decided, okay, I'm gonna start this agency, and technically I started as like video editor, I would say. So that's kind of like I was just like how it started was pretty funny because I was just basically messaging all the people that I was watching on YouTube, like all the SMA gurus that I was watching, and tried to offer them video editing, and it actually worked because I got my first client like second day. It was actually one of the biggest like SMA YouTuber back then, like in 2019, 2020. Yeah, 2020 was that.
Can you share who was it or no?
I mean, I probably can. Bradley Riley. He's not that popular right now, but
Yeah.
he definitely was. So yeah, pretty much. But it's also funny because through all these years, I work with pretty much like all the SMA, gurus. At least edit like few videos for them or something. Maybe except from like Eamon or something. But yeah, so I started editing videos for him. Like kind of like got my first client second day, pretty much starting the agency. So I was kind of lucky here. But then I just kind of it transitioned really smoothly because I never knew that I'm gonna like run a YouTube agency. It kind of just started. Okay, I'm editing videos for this guy. I'm trying to find new clients for editing, and then I had a client come in and ask me, "Can you do the thumbnails?" And I couldn't do it, but I said, "Yeah, sure." Then I learned how to do it. Then I started offering it, and then it kind of expanded from there because I just got a lot of clients who was working these 16 hours days. So I got my first like video editor and started just building my team from there, expanding app services, like full YouTube management stuff. And yeah, and then just kind of like scaling that. So yeah, like crazy journey, but basically up to the point, where I had like my first editor, I was just kind of doing everything by myself. So I was like more or less an editor, but then I focused on like kind of making a good offer, building a team, and just like, scaling that further and getting clients for it. So these are kind
Also,
of like the beginnings here.
yeah, was that also kind of the time when you went from like freelancer to actually running out the agency when you decided to like invest into working with me one on one? Because like I don't remember that clearly to be honest, because it was
Mhm.
quite a while ago. But I know you originally like wanted to work like invest into coaching, but you didn't have the money for it. So then you got
Mhm.
your first client and you put like basically everything back into kind of
Yes.
like yourself and like doing some one-on-one work to build out your offer, work on your sales and outreach and all that stuff. So how was that? Because I was
Yeah, yeah. So I remember when you had this first consultation, I didn't really do that much afterwards for like the 6 months after it, even though you gave me some good advisor. But then as I started it, I knew that I can't really scale it I could scale it by myself, but it would just like take a lot of time. So, first client I got like half of the payment for the month because, it was like a few $100s or something. I knew that I wanted to reinvest that. And basically then we got connected and we started one-on-one consulting.
yeah.
And yeah, that really helped me because then I went from like this first client to I think around like 2 3K per month, like really fast. So it was like pretty much instant in like few months, and I was already doing like 2 to 3K. So it really helped me. And then you were also like telling me that I need to like build out the team, and I was always like hesitant because at the beginning, when I was like doing the editing, I was just hesitant that oh, I need to spend the money that I'm making to get someone. But it was super like stupid when I look at it from the perspective,
Yeah.
because like outsourcing that work enabled me to actually sign more clients and scale the agency faster. But yeah, that was kind of like the beginning of the story here.
And another big thing for you, I remember, was charging higher prices because you
Yeah.
know you were turning like super low, just like how I was when I was getting started. I think this is like a common pattern with people who don't come from like a wealthy family because they don't understand.
Mhm.
Sorry about my voice, I have some allergies, but yeah, because they don't understand how abundant money actually is, right? Like once you get into entrepreneurship and once you start like leveling up, you realize how many people there are with a lot of money, right? And until that point, until you get exposed to this word like properly, you kind of think that $500 is a lot of money. And then when you realize like how much money is actually out there in the market, you realize like, oh, I could easily charge 3,000 a month, 4,000 a month, 2,000 a month for a service that makes someone more money if you do it
Hmm.
correctly, right? So that was one thing as well. I remember like raising your prices. It was
Yeah.
one of the big things for me as well. I had to kind of get over when I was getting started, and
Yeah, but that's really really true. I remember I was signing clients for like $200 per month, like
Yeah.
$500 per month. And even like the first client that I got, it was $1,000 per month. It was like a lot of money for me back then, because I was also like, I never really made like a big money before that. So, like 1K was just seemed like a super lot, like a lot of money. But then for this 1,000, I needed to do daily edits. So like 30 YouTube videos edited. Then for those edits, I need to do like a short form content from every video. So it was a lot of work. I think it was coming down to maybe like even $10 per hour or something, because it was just so much work. But I was thinking, oh, it's so like such a lot of money back then. Yeah, so that was a big problem. I would still maybe I could charge more, but maybe I have some limiting beliefs, because I see people like charging 5K for what we're doing, per month, where we have clients, I don't know, 2 to 3K. But yeah, it's definitely better than it was back then when I was selling clients for like $200 per month.
Yeah, for sure. I think with pricing, it's so weird because this idea of charging high ticket prices is so foreign if you don't come from like the business world, or you are not
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable on it, because you think like, how could something that costs more be actually more valuable just because of that? But the thing is, like, even with stuff like coaching services or agency services as well, like, I don't know if you have seen this kind of like graph by Hormozy of like the price to value
Mm-hmm.
relationship. But
Yes.
basically it's like, the more you charge, the more people are going to first of all value your service, because just because it costs more money, people think it's better. It's like, if you buy a jacket that costs $10,000, you're going to love that jacket more than the one that costs 300, just because it costs more. Like, even if it's not much comfier or whatever, like, you're gonna usually like it more because there is more of like an investment into it. And also, it's weird because the more you charge, the better clients you usually work with, right? Like, the clients
Yes.
that are the most pain in the ass, usually, that ask you for a ton of revisions, that always complain, that want things next day or yesterday, like, they are usually the ones that pay like $500, $1,000 maybe. And once you get into the territory where people are paying like a lot of money, the thing is, those people who can actually afford like 3K a month, for example, or 2.5K or even higher for a monthly retainer, they are usually already successful business owners, right? And because of
Mm-hmm.
that reason, they are not looking for someone to babysit. They are looking for someone who can solve their problem, and they don't want to worry about it, right? Like, that's the reason why they hire someone, is because they want to get it off their mind. So once you work with someone who actually understands the value of time and is already higher level at business, they're usually not going to ask for like any revisions. They are much easier to work with. Obviously you should do your job right, but like, it's weird because usually the more you charge, the better clients you work with, the better service delivery you can have, because you can afford to hire better talent, right?
Yes,
Sometimes
exactly.
it's easier to sell higher ticket prices as well. Like, I don't know if you had that experience, Greg,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that on sales calls, like, when I was selling like $500 a month, $1,000 a month, I was having so hard sales calls because I was having to like overcome 1,000 objections. But on the same, that's the same logic that if you work with someone who's already running $1 million or more a year business, they make decisions based on logic, not emotion. So you don't have to overcome a ton of shit and a ton of baggage that they are bringing from their own like emotions, right, onto the sales call, and they just make the decision like quickly. Like, you present them like, hey, this is what we do, this is how it works, this is how it makes sense, do you want to do it or not? And they can make like a quick decision based on the information that's available to them. Do you agree with this? By the way, I know
Yes.
I'm on a bit of a rant, but like, I think this is so true that high ticket clients close easier as well a lot of times if they are like actual experienced business owners.
Exactly. 100%. Like even I see in my agency, the more the client pays, usually the better is it to work with them actually. And the clients that pay less, because for example, we have some clients that might have better pricing because they are with us from pretty much like the beginning. Not everyone, because like some of them are amazing, but like some of them are like, the hardest to work with. So it's kind of like the more the client pays, usually it's easier to work with. And same thing with actually closing them as well. I remember when I closed like my first kind of like bigger deal, it was like a 3 month deal for like 4K. So it wasn't that big, but there wasn't that much work, and it was like 4K one time. And I remember previously I was just closing people for like, my 1K per month maximum. Then I offered him like 4K for these 3 months. And he was like, "Oh, cool, send me the invoice." Got it paid right away, and that's it. We started working together. And every time when I had a call with someone that was like just trying to negotiate the price down, and just trying to add different stuff to the contract for this price, whatever,
Yeah.
like it was just so hard to close them first and so hard to work with them. So definitely, I also see that change in me because back when I was making not that much money, when I was like making a decision to work with someone, with some agency or whatever, just buying something, the decision, like I was just like, super worried about it. I was like, oh, but do we have a guarantee? How can we make it work? Just like trying to basically like was a bit of pain in the ass. But right now, when I'm making a decision, I know that I run a successful business, so I just want if someone is like if I see that something is the right fit, I just like I don't really think about it. Like, okay, let's do it. Here's the money, invoice paid, and let's do it. So it's really, and also I think that most beginners, for me, that was like a big point when I was starting out, don't realize how much money people make, because that's like true. We have clients that make like $500,000 per month, and for them to pay like 2K per month, it's like nothing. It's like I don't know, $50 for someone that makes like 2K per month. So like it's really nothing to them to pay that amount of money. And for example, for me when I was a beginner, like 2K per month sound like this massive deal, and for him it's like he probably spends. That's also funny because these guys literally can spend on one dinner they can spend like
Yeah,
5K or like 10K on
exactly.
one dinner, and then for them to pay you like 2K per month for a valuable service that can help them scale their business, it's really nothing. So
Yeah, the thing
definitely
is like
mindset is a big thing here.
if you compare it to your salary in most countries, right? That's only the only time where it seems like a lot of money. Because like, yeah, you see people who are making like 15K a year or 20K a year or 30K a
Mhm.
year or let's say 50K a year, right? In countries. And yeah, if you compare that to that, it seems like a lot of money, but if you compare it to business, it's a whole different game. And also, just coming back to this thing you were telling me, I wanted to mention this that, yeah, it's super true that you change over time as well as you get kind of like more and more successful with business. Because I think this is so true. I was like, I think at this one, almost 2 months ago, I was in Dubai and I went to a mastermind, right? And the mastermind was basically like 10 grand for 3 days. And I originally was like kind of getting hesitant if I want to go or not. But then they had like a yacht party, and my friend was going to the mastermind, and he invited me on that yacht party because everybody could invite a couple friends because it was like a huge, I don't know,
Mhm.
150 feet yacht or whatever, like huge. And it was only 12 people originally, so everybody could invite a couple people. And I went there and I was talking to some of the people there. I met the guy who was hosting the mastermind, and boom, I was like, all right, I actually want to like come to this. Or like it was only the beginning of it, of the 3 days, so
Mhm.
it's only been like half a day that passed. So I was like, fuck, I want to stay hanging out with these guys. I can learn so much from them. Like, let me join. And so on the actual boat, like once the mastermind already started going and like half of it or like half a day already passed, I was like, hey bro, can I pay you the money? Can I join? And like just on the spot, we shook hands on it. And literally after getting off the boat, I sent him and the money, which was a lot of money, right? For it's like 3K a day for a
Yeah.
mastermind. But just like that, I was like, hey, is this a good decision based on the kind of people I already met? Yes. All right. Should I do it? Yes. And life is like a mirror. Like you kind of get back from the universe what you give it as well. And I know this sounds
Mhm.
like very airy fairy, and like esoteric and all that. But if you think about it, like if you make decisions quickly and if people can sense that on you and in your energy that you are like, okay, this guy doesn't fuck around. Like he says what he does what he say he's going to do. He makes decisions quickly and all that. People are going to reciprocate that, and you are going to have people like decide on your offers as well. If you invest into yourself and your own education or whatever it is into other services, you're going to have people invest into you as well. But you cannot like cheat the system. If you're a stingy person and you are not going to buy anything, or you're not going to invest into yourself or whatever, like other people are not going to invest into you. Because the thing is,
Yes, exactly.
like I could look at that mastermind expense, right? And it is still like a significant amount of money for me. Like I could have bought a brand new Rolex for that
Yeah.
price. I've been wanting to get like a new watch for a while. So like it was like a significant amount of money to like put into that. But I was thinking like if I'm not, going to do this, why is that? Well, do I think I could learn some new things that can make me more than $10,000
Hmm.
this thing? Yes. So then if I don't buy it, like I was like, yeah, certainly, like I can network with people who are making 500 grand a month, right? I can learn from these guys, all that. Could I make an extra more than 10 grand if I go to this? Yeah. So if I don't buy it, it's only because I don't believe in myself that I'm going to implement this stuff and actually put in the work, because I know it works, because I see like
Yeah.
proof that these guys are doing it. So what I was just trying to get with this is, if you judge other people, you're going to be like, life is like a mirror. If you judge other people, you're going to be afraid of being judged. So you won't put out YouTube videos and you won't build your personal brand. If you're afraid to invest into yourself, other people are not going to want to invest into you. If you treat other people, with no respect, you're not going to be respected either. If you whatever, like all these things are, I think, like super super true. Like what you put out is kind of what you get in life, I think.
Yes, exactly. And also a good point on the investing side of things. Like, because it's so true. I always was super big on investing, especially like in myself, because I was always had the same thinking. If I spend, 1K, 3K, 5K on a specific program, whatever, like I was always thinking, would it make me this money back in like 12, 24, 5, 10 years from now? So like I was always thinking in this way. And then it seems like, stupid money, because like if you can spend 1K, like there's no way, for example, for me, if I invest 1K into like a specific program that I see can help me, it will probably make me like 100,000 back, in the long run.
Yeah.
Because the skills that you, even if you learn just like one thing, one skill, one whatever that might be, it will bring you so like big results. Like no other investment comes close to like investing in yourself. But
But
also
this
like
is the
definitely
good.
good, yeah, good topic on like the mindset side of things. I also think like attracts like, and it's super important, especially in business, because you will always attract. If you're like hesitant buyer, if you're like scared of spending money, you're maybe, really like, I don't know, a picky clients. Like you will attract the same type of clients. Like you will then have like a nightmare of a client.
Yeah.
But if you're like a good guy, you have a good energy, you're not afraid of investing in yourself and all that stuff, then you'll probably attract like-minded people for your business as well, like-minded people for the team and stuff like that. So it's really, really important.
Yeah, and like obviously I'm not saying like be financially irresponsible and just buy
Yeah.
like everything that's shit, but like if something makes sense, like why aren't you doing it? Because like even a few days ago, I had to learn. I was like, all right, I need to learn how to build an email list properly. I need to know how to build out like a opt-in 7-day sequence. Like I need to level up things for magnetic editing so I can like have a proper opt-in page and all that, right? So I was like, all right, I could go at it on my own, try to learn from videos, and it's gonna take freaking ages and I'm gonna get frustrated. Or I could just ask one of my best friends who runs a multi-7-figure business who I should learn email marketing from and then hire that guy. And so that's what
Yeah.
I did. And I just paid someone for 5 hours of their time. I'm gonna start doing like weekly calls with him and learning how to do this, like how to use Go High Level at like an actual high level, right? How to set up automations and how to do my email marketing properly, how to set up Mailgun, like all these little things for this digital product. And I know it's like a no-brainer because okay, what else could I use that $1,000 for, right? Like it's not like it's easily going to make me more back. But anyways, yeah, I think it's very true. Like what you were just saying as well. And to be honest, like some people don't really get this. Like even with my girlfriend, sometimes we not argue about it, but she's like super picky about the quality of service and like, or if something's not perfect, she wants a refund and like give back things. And I'm like the kind of person who just doesn't give a fuck. And like if I bought something, I wanted to buy it, and like there's some and I kind of regretted it, or like it's not exactly what I wanted or whatever. Like I usually don't refund because I just feel like sure, if you got scammed or whatever, like something's horrible, then yeah, sure, go ahead and get a refund. But in general, like I'm just not a fan of complaining about things, or if in the restaurant something's not perfect about my meal, like I'm not gonna get bothered about it. Like someone was probably trying their best as well and all that. You should expect like good quality service, of course, but I think like those people who are just absolute Karens, like who take things so personally, like you see those videos where something's a little bit off with their food, and then they ask for the manager and they get like super
Yeah,
upset,
yeah.
make a scene and all that. Like that can be translated to all other aspects of life as well, because there are just some of these people who are absolute complainers, I think, like who just don't take any responsibility. This might not be the best example with the restaurant, because like, yeah, if your food is shit, like tell the waiter maybe to bring you something next, something other than that. But yeah, just in general, like I'm not a fan of people who always complain about the smallest things and always ask for refunds. And yeah, anyways.
Yeah, and that's funny because also like I have like this example with clients, for example, like some clients I can tell that they are making a lot of money by the way they behave on on the sales call, by the way we chat. But yeah, I don't even have to look at like their profile and their
Yeah.
financial stats. I can tell like what they're making. And for example, we recently signed a client. We just like started working together. We literally he paid for like 3 months upfront. We just like sent him the first thumbnail. I think like we edit the first video and sent the thumbnail, and on the thumbnail we changed his shirt like to a different color. Basically like you couldn't tell, like only he could tell that we changed like the shirt, and then just like everything looked really good. And then he wrote like a super long email to me that it's not gonna work, I want a full refund, whatever. It's just because of this one family. And I can tell, like, by the way, he was just like coming up with reasons pretty much that's why we did like a shitty job or whatever. I don't even know like what he meant exactly by that, but I can tell that this guy is probably struggling with his business, because if he's making such a big deal of a one thing like that, I can tell that he's definitely not running like a 7-8 figure business. It's probably like, and I even know it for the fact that he probably just like got few clients in maybe, and it's just like beginning of the journey for him and stuff. But yeah, it's just like you can tell a lot by the like behavior of someone.
Yeah, like I think the goal is to get to a point as soon as possible where you aren't so scarce with money that you get personal over little things. That
Mhm.
like it's so weird. Like even with family members, I think this is why money is kind of like a shitty thing as well. But that's why you should be a master of it. Is because like if you ever had some friends or whatever who like let's say you owed them a little bit of money in high school or whatever, or like or later on someone borrows from you, or you don't want to give someone money or whatever it is, like anything that regards kind of like finances, people get so like some people just become a completely different person once money gets involved
Yeah.
with their family. And it's like, are we really going to have a fight over
Yeah.
$500, $1,000, or like, are you really ready to ruin a personal family relationship over money? Like to me, it just completely doesn't make sense. And I don't want to come off as like talking from a high horse or anything, because like yeah, I know it can be a struggle at times and all that. Like I've been there, but at the same time, like I just lose all respect for anyone who's going to get like super angry, defensive, and like just become a different person when money gets involved in any like conflicts. I think it's horrible, but
So that happens. Yeah.
human nature though. Like I think it happens at the highest levels as well, like not just with people who are not abundant, but also like some people are just yeah, idiots.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's go on to a different topic. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about like at this point with working with this many clients, how many clients are you getting like roughly every month, and where do you mostly get your clients? Because I see you are active on Twitter. I see you started
Mhm.
your YouTube channel recently as well, which by the way for everyone is going to be linked down below, so give Greg a follow there.
Thanks.
But yeah, so basically I see you're on Twitter. I see you're on Instagram, although you're not very active there. I think I see
Yeah, yeah. Instagrams.
your yeah. So how many clients do you get now? Like what's your churn, and where do you get
Yeah.
your clients mainly at this point?
Yeah, so we mainly like it really varies. Some months we can sign like 3 4 clients, and the next month maybe just one. And yeah, like we have like a bit of, I wouldn't say like churn maybe, but sometimes basically it's like, for example, right now, like we just have the holidays are coming in, a lot of clients are like on pauses, so it's actually quite a rare situation when a client like leaves, that, you know, oh, I don't want to work with you, you know, it's the end. Like, but sometimes they take like pauses, for example, for a month, 2 3, when they need to. But yeah, basically we may get many clients from, still it's from outbound prospecting, and that's, it's mainly like cold emails. We do a lot of like Twitter outreach as well, kind of combining it with Loom as well. Like Loom is my favorite method of getting clients. So we use both like personalized Looms, we use automated like Looms, but we combine like Twitter outreach with Looms, and that works quite good as well. Like email is still the main one, but that's also like the reason why I started kind of like my building my own personal brand on mainly Twitter and YouTube right now. I just want to focus on these two platforms. Because also like with the agency previously, I was always like, first thing, I didn't want to like be in front of camera, and second thing is just I was always thinking, oh, well, I can do my YouTube channel, or I can just focus on getting my clients results and, you know, making sure that building the team and scaling my agency. So I was kind of viewing the personal brand as sometimes something like, I have my agency and here's the personal brand, you know, like a separate thing. But actually, right now, as my agency is running like pretty much even without me, because I don't have like that many things to do in the agency, so I can just focus on the high level stuff. I'm like, oh, I need to do a personal brand, because firstly, just like to practice what I preach. You know, I practice,
Yeah.
I preach YouTube channel and the benefits of it. So I just wanted to have my own YouTube channel as well. But also, like, basically, I my English got better. I'm feeling better in front of camera. So right now, I'm just like feeling way more confident in making this YouTube channel. And I think it can also like definitely be a good source of leads right now, because like it actually, it's super small, but it like attracts some people already. So
Mhm.
I'm already like, you know, getting good comments, getting some DMs and stuff. So it's really, really crazy how powerful that is.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, and it just like feels like the best next move for me to just go build this up, and kind of like also to differentiate myself from like other agency owners, because there's many more like agency, like YouTube agencies coming up. I see like many more people offering this service, and also like I think personal brand is a really, really good way to kind of like position myself as an expert, and also differentiate myself from like all the other agency owners. And then I think it like really helps, like we see it with our clients. So I wanted to do it for myself, because I see our clients bringing leads, becoming like the, you know, top one authority in their niche. And also there's a like lot of benefits of YouTube that people don't talk about, like the possibility of increasing the prices, because literally if someone is like top authority on YouTube, they can probably charge more than other agencies and still get clients, because they are like viewed as this, you know, top level experts. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits. So that's kind of like why I started it now, and I'm focusing on it right now. But still, majority of our clients comes from like outbound prospecting, of course, referrals as well. We get a lot of referrals. Yeah, so that's kind of how it looks like right now.
Yeah. And you touched on like not having to do that much on your agency, because like you have a sales guy, right? You have setters, you have editors, you have a manager, you have the graphic designer. So it's like at this point you're pretty much just kind of like dictating the direction and like steering the ship, right? You don't have to
Hmm.
be in the day-to-day stuff anymore that much, which is obviously it comes with the cost of like giving up margin. But on the same time, like I always tell people this, that the main thing you want to look at, unless you need to make like a lot of money really quick, and but even then, like the main thing you should look at is how much are you actually earning per unit of your time, right?
Hmm.
So you could be working with a much smaller team of like 2 3 people and keep 70% margins or 80% margins, but you would be overall earning less money per hour of your time that you need to spend on your business, right? Because like right now you're probably making a ton of money per hour if you look at how much time you actually need to invest on your agency, and you can spend all your other time on doing fun stuff you want to do. Like I know you do like boxing and stuff like that,
Yeah, yeah.
and also build up any other businesses or come up with new strategies to grow the agency or build your brand or stuff like that. So I think that's great. Not that many people get to that point, so I think you did really well on that aspect.
Yeah, I love the position that I'm in right now. Not because I don't have to like work that much, because I still work a lot just because I like it and I want to like scale the agency further. But yeah, like also I never understood these people. Maybe like right now I don't understand these people that are like preaching one-person businesses, and, you have 95% margins and stuff like that. Because even if you're making a lot, but there's only you, like you pretty much like, like an employee, because you still need to do the work, you need to get clients, you need to do everything by yourself. So what I love is that right now we have this team, amazing team, and I can go on like 10-day holidays and don't really even have to do anything. Business will be running, and what's more important, not only business will be running during this time, it will actually be growing, because we have, like you said, we have a sales guy, we have basically like a growth team thinking of the outreach and stuff like that. So I'm not like really involved in that process. So yeah, it's an amazing position to be in, because also I don't really like editing videos anymore. I don't like, I don't know, coming up with thumbnail ideas, and don't like taking sales calls, for example. There's a lot of things that I don't like. And right now I'm in this position that I gave up kind of like my margins, because maybe I don't need that many people, but I can just focus on what I like to do the most. So that might be, creating content, meeting with the team, meeting with, potentially clients. Just even with clients, I don't really meet that much, because I have like, my associate basically taking care of it, my manager. So yeah, it's just like amazing position to be in, because I can focus on what I love the most, and that's also like a key part. If I want to be consistent and scale it further, that's kind of what I need to do. I can't take sales calls forever. I can't edit videos forever. I need to have a good team in place, focus on like the highest leverage stuff, and yeah, that's kind of like how I always viewed the business and how I want to build it further.
Yeah, and I think people also, should kind of think about this. Like, there is a difference between being the initial creative you are, and if you want to, and if you like, if you say I want to build a 50K a month, 100K a month creative business, you're not going to be like doing that much creative work. You're going to be running a business. So
Yeah.
the difference is like, it's great if you are like a designer or you're a video editor, and if you just want to make some more, like a good income, like 6 figures a year, you can do that on your own by just landing higher ticket clients, being good with outreach, and like getting clients, and like learning some basic business stuff.
Mhm.
Like, someone like me can teach you that, and you can get there. But if you want to get to the point where you are getting like to much higher levels, you are like, most of you are just going to be business owners who sell a creative service, but you could pretty much change up the creative service for any service and it would be pretty much the same, right? Like, you're not in there every single day coming up with creative ideas for each video and all that. Like,
Yeah.
you can, I like to treat business as kind of an art. So it is, I think it is a creative expression, like to build a business, build a brand, but you are not going to be like, editing and every day and also running a 50K a month business. Like, it's not very
Mhm.
likely. There might be a couple of you who are gonna like, who are like creative geniuses, and like you can create some kind of like art or whatever that can get you that much money. But like, if you want to actually have a high likelihood of hitting those kind of like income goals, you probably kind of need to get. I mean, I don't want to speak it over you, but like, I'm just saying what I've seen is that you kind of most of the time need to get out of this like artist position and become more of a business owner, right?
Yes, exactly. Because I think that also people have this misconception that in order to, I don't know, make 6 figures as a video editor, they need to be amazing at video editing. And that's like totally not true. Of course, like if you need to know the basics, you need to know how to edit videos, but it's not about it. Like you can, I've seen, like, when we are hiring people, like I've seen many people that were like amazing skills, like the skill was really top level, and they were struggling to make 1 2K per month. And then there are people that aren't the best at editing itself, but they are amazing business owners, and they make 10 20 50 100K per month with that, because they are just like amazing business owners. They
Yeah.
can build a business around it, they know how to get clients, they know how to get, how to have high prices and how to charge more, and they just make a lot of money from that. So I think that's a big point here as well.
Yeah, so if you're one of those people who is like a very creative video editor or videographer or whatever, like, the worst thing you can do by hearing this information is saying like, oh, always the worst people make the most money. Like, fuck them. Like, why are these guys are clearly not good at their craft, yet they are making all this money. The world is so unfair. Like, if you look at it this way, you're never going to really like achieve anything. The way
Yeah.
this information should, hit your brain is like, oh, that's amazing. Like, I'm already a great videographer or video editor. I just need to learn the business side of things, and I can like level up on all of those side of things and dunk on these guys who only know business, right? Because like that's the mentality you should have if you're already really good at video editing. And if not, then again, just you should take this kind of as like inspiration that for you to make a solid income with this, you don't need to be the best. You just need to learn the business side of it as well. Anyways, kind of like switching topics a little bit. I wanted to ask. I see you're on Twitter, you know, and I have like an on and off relationship with Twitter. Like sometimes I download it, sometimes I delete it. What do you think about like this money Twitter space? Because I haven't talked to anyone about it yet, and I'm kind of curious for your thoughts. I think it's funny. Also, some people are absolute degenerates over there. Like sometimes I can't even tell if someone's like, you know, just joking with a tweet or is actually thinking that. Like I think a lot of people are actually thinking that. It's like it feels to me like a wild west. Like money Twitter sometimes is almost the same as like Reddit pages or whatever. It's like gets pretty wild. What are your thoughts being on Twitter and using it? What do you
Yeah.
think about it since Elon kind of took over? I haven't used it a ton in the past, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because I always view Twitter like, I've heard people like entrepreneurs talking about Twitter, and I was like, what is this app? Like just text and stuff? Like who even uses that?
Uber app, yeah.
Yeah, but it turns out that for me personally, I love Twitter. When I first like started just like be on Twitter, and follow some guys like money Twitter space. Yeah, it's a really interesting place. That's for sure. There's a lot of different people, but yeah, it's basically like for people that don't know, like money Twitter is like this kind of like big bubble of entrepreneurs that are on Twitter. Usually it's not like big high level entrepreneurs. It's just like some guys from I don't know whatever industry, SMA, dropshipping, coaches, whatever that might be. Like there's lots of different people. But yeah, it's interesting space. I'm just like trying to follow people that I want to follow and kind of like stay in this circle because there's a lot of like even it's definitely a funny place because there's a lot of like dramas and people is just exposing each other,
Yeah,
and I
because you
think there's
don't
a
need
lot of like negative
like
energy, but also
yeah.
there's a lot of high level people giving like high level information there. So that's like why I love Twitter, but also like yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like you don't actually have your face between every message necessarily, right? Like, yeah, it might be from your own profile, but you don't have to say it out loud, the things you write there. So some people are just like freaking like off the leash there. Like they just say some ridiculous stuff and some like super mean stuff to each other. So it's kind of funny to see. What do you think about Twitter as like a lead generation method or like getting clients? Like how many have you landed some clients from Twitter? And like what's your workflow if you have around Twitter, if you don't mind sharing it? I would be
Yeah, so
like,
when I
that's a
first
lot.
got on Twitter, I just like optimized my profile, and literally like the same day, I had a guy reach out to me that needed like YouTube services and then became a client. So I was like, is it really like that easy to get clients with Twitter? Like it's not, of course. I just like was a bit lucky, I guess, here. But yeah, I think Twitter is amazing because there's a lot of entrepreneurs and people don't really know about Twitter that something like that exists, and that there's a lot of these people, and on Instagram, on emails, people get pitched a lot, and Twitter, well, right now it's kind of changing, and people also are getting pitched a lot on Twitter because it's kind of like becoming a trend of getting clients on Twitter. But I can experience it that on Twitter it's way easier to reach these people, even if they have big accounts, because not that many people actually, pitches them in the Twitter DMs, for example. So my kind of workflow is just creating valuable content on the profile. I have my profile optimized. I create like a value content. I'm not going crazy with that because I'm still like just using it mainly for outbound. So I'm not like focusing on, creating a ton of content that's going to bring me leads and, clients from just like people watching, reading my content. It's kind of more as a social proof to DMs that we are sending. And we have a good process for DMs where it's like not this spammy, DMs. It's like kind of just asking if they want to see a long video, like in a nutshell, kind of. I don't want to like reveal everything, but in a nutshell, we just ask them if they want to see a long video. Then we have a long video. Sometimes we do personalized with a prospect as well. Sometimes we just have like a general long video. Basically, they want to see, we send it to them. It converts quite well, I would say. We're booking like right now, since we started doing a bit more personalized Loom. So like over the past 2 weeks, we've been booking like I think 2 to 3 calls per week on Twitter, which is quite okay, like, if you ask me.
How much volume do you think you do, like roughly?
Yeah, we do 30 messages a day because we don't really want to go over it because with the follow-ups and stuff, we already got like a bit blocked one time, like kind of like shadow banned. So right now we just like stick with 30 a day.
One super interesting like strategy I've seen on Twitter, used by some people is they would actually like take their prospect that they want to close as a client, and they would make a thread on them,
Yeah.
right? Like explaining, for example, like let's say you wanted to get PewDiePie as a client, right? It's probably not going to happen, but let's say you would make a Twitter thread that's like, here's how PewDiePie, converts people to buy his energy drink, whatever. And then you would make like an actual, like pretty well done thread. So this way you are creating content and you're also like getting seen and noticed by that creator you might want to get
Mhm.
as a client. And a lot of times they will repost it. You can message them, and like I can imagine it works pretty well. It's obviously like really high effort outreach, if you want to call it that.
Mhm.
You need to be really smart with probably who you target, and this also probably doesn't work with like people who don't have a following at all. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting like strategy. I've seen a couple of people doing that, and
Yeah, I've seen it as well. I think it
also
may
on
work
Twitter.
because
Also on
if we,
Twitter. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
sorry. Yeah, because basically I'm just thinking if you could do like this, let's say one thread a day for like other people, like from 20 threads that you create in a month, you will definitely get like at least, I don't know, I would say even 5 course booked because it just builds so like gives so much value that's probably it's a good way of getting clients, but like super high effort as well.
Yeah, you might as well. You need to like, if this works, you might as well like hire someone to write like five
Yeah.
reports a day for you full time and like just bump out a bunch of them. But anyways, also I just see a lot of people on Twitter like asking randomly like, "Hey, is anyone here a good video editor or good at YouTube or whatever?" And you can also land some clients that way. So yeah, pretty interesting. Other than Twitter, like, what do you see as kind of like new trends right now or changes in the industry of the agency space and specifically like creative agency? If you have any thoughts on that, like, where do you think it's going? Personally, me, I think it's going more towards becoming more of like a content marketing specialist or like
Mhm.
creating a social media funnel for people than just making videos. Like, I think this is going to be the trend because like as more people learn video editing and creative skills and as AI gets better, it's going to be easier to replace someone. So it will just, as competition rises there, I think it's naturally just going to be like a race to the bottom. So I think to some extent, I'm not saying it's gonna be happening like super quick, but I think in the long term, if you wanna like really win, you need to get people results, right? You need to get them more clients and more appointments and all that. So I think what's working well now and we'll probably do is like building out a YouTube VSL video for people, like a long form selling video
Yeah.
stuff, right? And actually helping them even with scripting it and structuring it, or helping, or actually like placing setters in your clients' Instagram DMs, and like sending people from YouTube to that, or creating Instagram content for them and also running their Instagram ads and placing setters in their DM. So like also working the leads kind of a little bit and like capturing the leads for them, not just creating the content. Like I think that could be kind of like the next move in this space. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of taking a guess here, but I kind of see that potentially happening more and
Mhm.
more. What do you think? Like, where do you think this industry is going? With all the stuff that's happening in the world and changing all the time.
Yeah, I see this trend quite a lot right now as well, that people are going about like this more content funnel kind of route that we're gonna build you, we're gonna help you with content, but we're also gonna do this and that for you to basically help you sign more clients. It definitely works well because I've seen a lot of people like scaling really fast with kind of like this type of offers. And I think that part of the fact that it's going so well is because there's way more people creating content right now than it was like 2 3 years ago. So 2 3 years ago, you could just have a YouTube SMA channel and get a lot of clients for like courses, consulting, and all that stuff just from like creating these videos. And right now there's competition, like there's so much competition that you kind of need to have a good process in place for not only getting the content in front of people, but to actually getting people that watch the content to then just like become your clients. And it's also like it's not that easy at the end of the day. So I see a lot of people going with the kind of like that route, and I'm also thinking about potentially trying out some new stuff, like maybe becoming more of like content kind of like specialist, and just like helping people, not just like doing the work for them, but also just helping them create a strategy, help them maybe build out their own team, help them train the team, guide them through everything, help them even with like how to convert viewers into clients, build them potentially like some funnels, VSLs, all that stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I still want to like scale my agency a bit further, because also the thing is that usually adding all of these things, it's not always the best move. I think like for me, that we have like, I think we have a good offer that we can still scale. And I know that with, for example, adding a lot of these things comes a lot more complexity. So also maybe we could potentially charge more then, but at the cost of, just needing to hire more people, needing to build new systems and all that stuff. So for now, maybe I'm not gonna go down that route and just still focus on just YouTube and growing that and helping people, get more clients with YouTube. But yeah, definitely it's changing, that's for sure. It's changing also because of the AI, as you mentioned. Because for example, with short form content, I literally saw like a tool, like website where you can just paste the link to the YouTube video and it gives you like 10 pieces of short form content. It picks a fragment, it edits it for you. Of course, it's not maybe as perfect as a human would do it, but I think it's gonna be perfect, in the near future. And then it's more about like everyone can create content. Then it's just more about like being like a consultant to them and helping them, you know, create content that converts, help them create a strategy, help them with these more like high level tasks regarding like all around the content and business, rather than just creating content. But still, like it's a long way to go, I think. So like content is still a hot thing,
I
and
think,
people don't have to worry about it
I
that
think,
much.
but I think at the same time as well, it's like you always want to kind of think ahead of time and be ahead of
Mhm.
the herd, because like what if I look at Hormozy selling 1 million copies of or whatever it is now of $100 million offers. If I look at Iman selling tens of thousands of copies of his agency course, like then you have to multiply that sales by like 10x to get like all the people who are going into this industry of agencies and online business, right? So the like if you don't have something that can always kind of like separate you from the competition, like a unique selling point, and like at the end of the day, like a true brand, you're going to struggle because it like even now it's not the same as it was 3 years ago. It's much
Yeah,
market is much more sophisticated, and it's
exactly.
just going to keep happening. I think the recession might like get rid of a lot of the people who are not good, right? Because as it gets harder and harder, like only the fittest will survive. But yeah, still, I think these are some good questions to ponder over and like come up with some unique solutions for your market as well. But yeah, anything else you wanted to share or go over, Greg? Or should we end it here for now?
I think we can end it here.
Yeah, I think it was a good conversation. Thank you so much for coming back on the channel. And yeah, for everyone who wants to see some more stuff from Greg, he's now posting on YouTube. So check out his channel. I'm going to link it down below. And yeah, thank you everyone for listening or watching.
Thank you.
So, if you enjoyed this and you are potentially interested in working with me together one on one, then go ahead and click the link below this video to schedule a free consultation to see whether you would be a good fit. This is only for people who are very serious about growing their coaching business or their creative agency and want to get to that next level. So, book a call if you're interested, and I will see you in the next one.